say thank you to Miss Desiree because this is her baby. So she gave birth to this idea, and she said that in Namibia, this is an industry that is very, very much underlooked.
Which camp?
And it is really an industry that during COVID has suffered more than any other industry from the impact of COVID. And if we need to make a difference, she was just telling me, if we really want to move the needle in Namibia, that needle cannot move if we don't touch this industry. So, thank you, my friend. Can somebody support him? Thank you. So if we need to move the needle, and I just want to tell you from especially NIPDB, last year, March 16, when the president announced the establishment of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, he says that because of the potential of MSMEs to create jobs and to make an impact, I'm elevating that role to the office of the president, and I'm making sure that we are giving the opportunity that is necessary for people to create jobs for themselves and to create jobs for fellow Namibians. And therefore, that is our mandate. We are here to see how can we make sure that we empower all Namibians in various sectors to create jobs for themselves. How can we support them? How can we help them? Because it's one thing for every Namibian to wake up every day saying, I want to try, but then you need somebody to take your hands with. So we are here to say, how can we partner with you to make sure that as you make effort, you've got a partner who is working the journey with you. And that's why market access is one of the many things. I remember last year, I met with two ladies, I think, one from gender, one from the UN. I think I was still at PwC. And then they were telling me something about, no, we need to do capacity building. I said, stop. I said, which capacity building? Since I was young, I've heard about capacity building. We are training people to death. People should no longer be trained to death. People need market access. Because right now, what we do is we tell people we train you until we cannot train you anymore. And then you are an MSME, then you need to come up with the idea, then you produce, then you market it, then you do everything. The bigger company, they've got somebody who's doing it. Now, as Nangula, I'm just an auditor. What do I know about marketing? What do I know about legal? What do I know about anything? But I'm starting a small business. So we want to be, as a NIPDB, how can we be your partner so that we can help you find partners who can be your legal advisor or your whatever, while you are focusing on what you are good at best. And that is maybe creative, designing, and doing what you are good at, and saying and finding partners. So yes, we are new, and we have got a long way to go, but we want to make sure that we hold your hand and we work with you. So this event, we are saying it TechNovation. I had a long discussion with Dino, because I said, please explain for me first the word before we go any further. So he said, no, it's two things put together, technology and innovation. Okay. Because what is happening, I did not understand what he was trying to put together. He said, we've got creative people that need market access. And we have got other guys who are in the fintech business who can provide them. He said, you know, are in the fintech business who can provide them. He said, you know, and you buy from whatever, if they produce, they are able to take their goods out there. But now we need to bring them together. How can we make sure that the guys that have got ideas in the fintech business are working with the ones that are producing and creating culture and so on, so that they can say, okay, if you are producing this one, don't be limited by 2.5 million. There is a world there with 6.5 billion people to whom you can sell. So that is really why we are here, and we want to say, let us see what is possible. Your market is not 0.5 million. Your market is 7 billion. How many are we in the world today? Is it 8 billion now? We are almost 8 billion. So that is your potential market. But then you need the fintech guys to enable you to reach that market. So that is what the conversations are going to be about. I had a long speech, but I know we are late, so let's just... We are here. Really where we are, that we encourage you to do what you are doing. We will, of course, we can in place, not people, so that the system, the processes, the institutions can work for you instead of you reaching out to Nangula because you know Nangula, you reaching out to Dino because you know Dino. If you don't know anybody, you should be able to have a system or a process or an institution that you can probably just link in there and you'll be able to get support. So at this stage, of course, I want to thank FMB, who is our partner who made this possible. Is there anybody from FMB? Okay, thank you very much, FMB. We appreciate you. So FMB made this possible. I don't think it was a lot of hard work. We just told them, this is what we like to do. They said, don't explain any further. We understand that. We are with you. And tonight is possible because of the support of FMB. Thank you very much for FMB. I already said, Medesre, thank you very much for what you're doing for the youth of Namibia. So sometimes people don't see what others are doing. Sometimes we have got limitation in terms of hours. There's only 24 of them in a day. But yes, there's a lot of many people that are working there to make life possible for you. So really, from our MSME department, Dino and the team, thank you very much for coming up with this idea. Thank you for bringing all these fine Namibians together. And thank you for making sure that you get me out of my house on Friday night. If I have no fun tonight, I will not forgive you. But if I enjoy tonight, definitely you are forgiven. But maybe you are already forgiven because of some of the products that I saw there. Things that I did not know they are possible in Namibia. Ideas that I could see there of people that have. This is the ideas. This is what is possible in Namibia. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Chops. Are you at the back? I think maybe let's just double check with the IT guys. Is the video radio? If it's not ready, Chops, are you ready to take it away? Let's ping pong real quick. IT, you said? Not yet?
What we'll do is have a chat with a few of the exhibitors.
Great
now,
stuff.
They're all from different fields. We have Veronica, who's with us from Vision Media and Drafting. And we're going to let her speak straight into the camera because perhaps there's one investor who might be interested to talk further with Veronica. So I'll hand Veronica over with the microphone. If you stand right here and tell us in 90 seconds what your business is all about, and we'll give you 90 seconds for that, and we'll move on to the next exhibitor. Veronica, all yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Veronica Frederico. Did you know that when architects, most architects, media houses, business owners, and film companies need 3D animations or renders, they go to the likes of Nexus or RenderWorks. These are all companies based in South Africa. And what makes this even harder is that it significantly reduces the opportunity for a startup to get access to these services and reduces authentic Namibian content. And that is why we created Vision Media and Drafting. Expressing ideas and innovations with next generation audio-visual animations. Currently, the problem is miscommunication. Anyone that is trying to explain what they want to do and how they want to do it often struggles to explain it verbally, especially when they're trying to communicate to someone who the idea is foreign to. So we bridge this gap by creating clarity with our visuals. So you pay us to prove to you that you will be understood. So entrepreneurs they're often shut down because of the fact that their ideas are understood. Business owners fail to properly communicate the next big thing to their clients. So currently, we're looking to expand our businesses to the educational and film and video industry by creating sort of a warehouse with enough PC and camera equipment to recreate and shoot CGI motions and spaces.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Veronica. We're going to move over to see some other exhibitors. Later on, you'll have a moment as well to meet them and see what they're all about. But there's so much different avenues where you can say that innovation has been applied. We have something very interesting that I came to see, and it's all about the power of AI. So I'm very happy to introduce to you a couple that has shied away from the mic today, but will be given an opportunity. If you join me here, you'll have 90 seconds to sell your dream. Perhaps there'll be somebody on the back of that camera wanting to invest in your new initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the team behind AI. Kani AI-powered technology. You'll have 90 seconds. I'll let you know when you're done. And let's speak right into that camera. Perhaps somebody is interested in investing in your business.
Hi, everybody. We are the Kani team. We are engineers, and we work on bridging the gap between traditional methods of collecting data and new age methods using drones and artificial intelligence. And we do this in nature conservation, agriculture, and the built environment. That would be surveying or infrastructure assessment. So we have two models. Either we can come and fly our drones and collect the data for you and use our software and process it and give you a report. Or you can buy a complete kit from us, which would be the drone, the hardware, and all your software requirements. You don't have to worry about flying. We can train you. We handle anything pertaining to insurance and all of that. So that's what we do in 90 seconds.
Thank you so much. A round of applause. In 90 seconds. And if you know your product and you know what you want to sell, you need to know it within those 90 seconds. Now, I spoke to these gentlemen a little earlier on. They train youngsters to get them innovatively creative and get them to understand the industry that they will be in the future. And that's why I love what I see here. So if one of you can join me and just run us through within 90 seconds, what is it that you do and why should somebody buy into you today? You've got 90 seconds. Hopefully somebody behind the screen will invest in your business.
Oh, thank you. I would like to ask you a question. How can we prepare children for jobs that have not yet been created, to tackle challenges that we cannot yet imagine, and to use technologies that have not yet been invented? At Minds in Action, we specialize in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics for primary and secondary school learners. We expose them while they are young. We expose them to robotics, electronics, 3D printing, renewable energy, Industry 4.0 skills. The idea is to empower and expose Namibian children to Industry 4.0 skills so that they can be able to be future makers. They can be able to provide jobs for others by actually making inventions and producing their own products. So at Minds in Action, we are situated in Seydorf, and we are operating from 8 to 5. And you are welcome to visit us. Give us a call, come visit our stand, and we tell you more about what we are doing to empower children when it comes to Industry 4.0 skills.
Thank you so much. And there we have it. Empowering from a young age, and that's just beautiful. It's all about creative culture, industries, which is why my next stop, before we move on, is the raw creativity of art. If you can join me, and let me know what Nelson does that this investor must invest in you. You've got 90 seconds, and you speak into this camera, and let us know what you do.
All right. Good evening. I'm Nelson Oliver Kamati, the creative leader and founder of Olinel Designs. So I'm just going to start off with this. Without vision, without passion, without purpose, any marketing strategy or design campaign fails. Yes, you could want a logo, and any designer can really create it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the sole driving purpose that brings new clients to your business. Emotions are the one language that are understood universally, regardless of your ethnic background, regardless of where you're from. And when you can resonate that with a visual stimulant, whether it's an art piece, whether it's a poster, even a logo, that is the new way of establishing a connection in this new digital age. So when you walk into a room, you bring an essence about you. You bring a vibe. And you do the same thing on your social media. With apps like TikTok, Instagram, you can tell right away whether you're going to resonate with the product, the service, or the company. As a design consultant, it's my job to help you establish that. Your vibe is the gut feeling someone gets. You instill that in their mind, in their heart, and in their lives. So why not do it with your brand? So thank you.
There we go. Lovely words, lovely words. There's still more to come. We're going to hand it over back to Ilka in the front, and let's have a few words from our keynote speaker.
Thank you very much, Chops. Yeah, social media is the trend. It's the way to go. And please do know, grab your phones, the hashtag for tonight. Do we know what the hashtag is for tonight?
I do.
Do you? Okay, no, Chops.
I do.
Do we have those freebies of NIPDB? Sheku, do we have freebies tonight? So what is the hashtag for tonight? Anybody? Hashtag Marianne from Nomad Spa. What's the hashtag? Hashtag TechNovation Social. So everybody, I dare you to take a selfie or take a picture of somebody else and say at NIPDB and say hashtag TechNovation Social. Thank you so much. The power of social media. So the next speaker, I met her many years ago when we started out even in the music industry, and she's had a background of marketing and advertising. She's been a brainchild of many various powerful campaigns that you've seen through mainstream media. What I love about tonight is that we have youth, we have young people leading these discussions. Even Dino B, a very young, brilliant mind. Sheku Nepembe, a very young, brilliant mind. And we are introducing and allowing the youth to take ownership of such discussions. So Desiree, she is a beautiful woman who is every woman in a nutshell. Can we please give her a big round of applause? The presidential advisor of Youth Matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ilka. You're too kind. Thank you for that kind introduction, and good evening, everyone. I'm going to try, and I can't freestyle like me in Angola, so I'm going to stick to my phone because I've made some notes, because there's quite a few things that I do want to mention tonight. Thank you, everyone, for making it out, and I should begin by thanking the NIPBD for running with a vision, to Dino and his young, dynamic team for bringing it all together and bringing us all together in a very short period of time. I think we only had a phone call about a month ago in October, and we said we need to do something to intervene and to provide some stimulus and support to the sector. It can't continue in the state of flux that it's in. And Menangula says it was inspired by me, but it wasn't really inspired by me. Tonight was actually inspired by your colleagues, because towards the end of September, I had some consultations at the State House where I had a number of different practitioners within the CCI, the Cultural Creative Industries, come down. We just had a candid conversation on the state of affairs. From a 4IR perspective, from a COVID perspective, from an economic perspective, from an industry transformation perspective, what do we do and how do we come together to make things better? And this was actually one of the demands from your sector, is that let's create a platform where we can have conversations, because everything starts with a conversation. Let's create a platform where we can network, because all our industries are actually interconnected and all our businesses tend to be either markets or service providers to the other. So let's develop the global supply chains. Let's come together so that we can also create opportunities to inform policymakers, so that you can bring the right people into the room and they can have a better understanding of the potential that the CCI has for the country and for this economy, for jobs. And I was saying to Mena that this is one of the sectors that has the greatest potential to create so many jobs with great multiplier effect at half the cost of the investment. If you had to take 100 million and put it into the CCI, the impact would be so significant, contrasting to 100 million in mining, for example. But the jobs would benefit a lot of young people, because we are the ones who are engaged in the CCI. So I've lost track of my notes and I'm going to put this thing down. and speak to you from the heart. I was there when President had to take some of the hardest leadership decisions early last year with the COVID, and he had to lock down this economy. And it was a time when our economy was just beginning to show some promise, and we were actually looking forward to some economic growth. And when he locked down the economy, the people who suffered the most are you. Yourselves in the CCI, entertainment, tourism, hospitality, and sport. You bore the brunt of the protracted lockdown that lasted for more than 9 months. It affected your revenue, entertainment, gatherings, venue-based events, and we are well aware. And I don't think there was any kind of sacrifice. It wasn't the intention of leadership to sacrifice one industry to save another. I think it was a leadership dilemma. And I can assure you that our leaders did the best that they could to protect lives and livelihoods. From an intervention point of view, government gave some stimulus. They gave 5 million to the sector to provide grant relief. It was money you didn't have to pay back. But obviously it's not enough. That was a once-off intervention, and it doesn't really address sustainable revenue flows. So we have to come together and really determine what we can do now on the back of an economic recovery agenda to revive this particular sector. Tonight is supposed to be a catalyst. Tonight is a precursor to a commitment that the government, through the Namibia Investment Promotion Development Board, is making. And we are committing ourselves to convening an annual cultural and creative festival, creative arts festival, which will be a big event, a flagship, a social calendar event, where we will really just have a curated platform. Invite everybody from the fashion, textile, musicians, composers, performing artists, architects, I don't know, there's at least 12 different disciplines under the CCI. Bring everyone in the room, bring the academia, bring the policymakers, bring the researchers, so that we can educate ourselves and have dialogues on what are the types of interventions and opportunities for the country. Tonight should also serve as the first attempt at an applied research. We want to begin to quantify the value of the cultural creative industries to Namibia economically. How many jobs? What is the number of SMEs? What is your contribution to this economy as SMEs, as a productive economic asset? That is how you will begin to speak with authority. That is how you begin to take your space on the economic discussions and mobilizing investment into this sector. When we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, and Dino is the deputy chairperson for that task force, we've learned a number of things, and a lot of them actually affect and are underpinned by the CCI. Technology cannot perpetuate without creativity, and even though there's so many risks of jobs being replaced by technology, the one industry that is indispensable for IR are the creatives, because you design the software, you develop it, you write it, you draw it, you soundtrack it. Everything is actually underpinned and driven. Within the technology landscape, everything is underpinned by the creatives. So when we talk about new frontiers of growth for economic recovery, when we talk about 4 and 5 IR, you cannot talk about ICT, digital transformation, without investing in the creative industries, which actually is the enabler for digital transformation. And I think that is the launch pin. We learned a lot of things as we were doing the 4IR work. One of the things that we learned, and we are all familiar with the challenges. I'm not going to go into the challenges. I think we better expand that time and energy looking at the solutions. But the one thing that we did pick up is the need for our country to monetize digital currency. A lot of you have got PayPal accounts, you're being paid by YouTube, you're being paid by Facebook, you're selling your music on iTunes and iMusic, but you literally have to get onto a plane to Cape Town to cash out your money at an F&B account that is in Namibia as a multinational. And we're finding that these conversations between the central bank, our commercial banks, and different payment gate service providers is actually just a facilitated dialogue that is required, Menangula, in order for us to make some policy decisions that would unlock our ability to cash out online payments. I think we also have a number of opportunities from a 4IR perspective with regard to investment promotion. ICT is an expensive industry. If you look at the filmmakers, it's very expensive technology that they have to use, that they have to import. And as a country, we're in the process of finalizing our investment promotion bill, investment promotion strategy, our incentives regime, with a policy. And I am appealing and increasingly advocating that ICT be prioritized and recognized as a priority industry for investment, along with sports, for sports infrastructure, along with business infrastructure. Because there's an ecosystem between ICT, sports, business, tourism, and hospitality. When they come in, they usually benefit from this value chain of the creative industries. And it makes a lot of sense for us to be able to pay them to international, to global investors. Because within the country, we are still developing our technology industries, our fintech, our agri-tech, our edu-tech, our health tech. We still need to develop those sector growths and develop proper sector growth strategies through our sector. But what we have done right is that at least we now have a trade in services policy. Before, we still have an industrial ambition. We want to be an industrialized nation. We've got the growth at home strategy, and that talks to different sector growths for industry. But we forget about the services industry. And at least the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade is now prioritizing the services industry through this policy. And our next step, I think, as NIPBD, together with the presidency, would be to develop these sector growth strategies. How do we move from invention to innovation, to prototyping, to a few samples, to actually scaling these solutions? And how do we reform public procurement policy law to enable innovation? Because innovation is usually unsolicited. Is invention the mother of necessity, or necessity the mother of invention? So there's been a few stumbling blocks, and we are identifying the policy incoherencies. I think we are well aware of what is impeding our ambitions to support this sector. And those are some of the preliminary outcomes that I just wanted to share with you from the work that we're doing with the 4IR task force. It's really instructive, and we're hoping that our policymakers will be able to pick up some of these key recommendations and fast-track the reforms to the benefit of all of us. Going forward, I think e-commerce is a big deal, and I think we need to strengthen our ability to trade online by capacitating young people actually with trade and import capacity build. I know you're allergic to the word, but we do need to be prepared to participate in the AFCFTA. I don't know how many of you know how to import and export a product. We need real funding instruments, because even though we have products, to scale them to a regional level, to a continental level, to a global level needs money. And we need to be able to have specialized funding instruments to facilitate trade outside of Namibia. And then we're going to need logistics. We're going to need logistics companies, because you can't do e-commerce without logistics on the ground, service providers. And that's for all of you to prepare yourselves to be able to meet that opportunity, because we definitely have to do a digital transformation agenda. But whether you're ready to meet that opportunity really depends on the investment industries prepared to make. I think as I move to a close, I would like to encourage the young people who are in the different industries within this broad sector to organize themselves. Some are better organized than others. You're not homogeneous. You have different sizes, you have got different economic capacity, you've got different sizes of the cluster. And some of you are better organized than others. There's fashion, there's music, there's film, there's publication and the literary arts, there's dance, there's textiles, there's a lot. And when you speak with a united front, it's better for you to engage policymakers with one voice, with one common language, and it helps us to have an interface, to speak to a group that represents a collective. So that is the first thing. I think we really need to see more unity in the CCI so that we can begin to move towards informality and to a more formalized arrangement within the industry. I also want to appreciate Inji, who's walking out before you walk out. Thank you very much for investing in this. And I'm hoping that we can secure not only your commitment, but the rest of industry next year when we want to scale this platform to a national annual fixed calendar event. And look, I think at the end of my statement is just to say that there are countries on the continent who have managed to transform their CCI into a top 5 GDP contributor. We celebrate Nollywood, but Nollywood is able to create sustainable, gainful, dignified life for a lot of young people through the work that you're doing here. So it has been proven that it's possible, and it's really about dignified life. If there's anything that gives, I think, the president sleepless nights, it's sports and the CCI. And you know the president to be a promoter and a lover of sport. You know the president to be a promoter and a lover of music and the cultural industries. So we do have a responsibility to make sure that the young people who are employed and self-employed entrepreneurs who are doing the work in this sector receive the support that they need. I'm looking forward to the rest of the program, to receiving the pitches, and our commitment to you is that we'll scale tonight to a bigger platform that will create tangible improvements in the work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another round of applause for some insightful words by Desiree. We do have good news now that the film that we wanted to show you, the film from the NIPDB, the video is ready. So if we take some time and just have a look at what the message is behind this video.
Located on the west coast of southern Africa, Namibia, 2.5 million people occupying 824,292 square kilometers of breathtaking landscapes, home to abundant wildlife. Since its independence in 1990, Namibia has proven to be an African reference due to its political and economic stability, sustained by a flourishing democracy. Over the past 30 years, the country has seen the peaceful transfer of power of 3 presidencies. Namibia is a land of hospitable people with rich cultural traditions and exciting investment opportunities. Through the world-class port at Wolfish Bay, the country positions itself as a logistics hub for road, rail, and sea freight, connecting neighboring countries and the broader Southern Africa development of the world. Its strategic hub invests in infrastructural projects to facilitate easy access and movement of people and goods throughout SADC countries with a population of more than 300 million people and further access to the wider African market of 1 billion consumers through the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. The long-term economic and political strategy of growth is firmly based on ensuring openness to trade and external investment while advancing development of strategic key sectors of Namibia's economy: mining, fishing, agriculture, tourism, renewable energy. Namibia's vast renewable energy generation potential affords our generation with the opportunity to produce green hydrogen at unparalleled scales, thereby supporting our global objectives to decarbonize the planet. A prosperous and industrialized Namibia, developed by her human resources, enjoying peace, harmony, and political stability. Vision 2030. To achieve economic progression, social transformation, environmental sustainability, and good governance, the Namibian government is implementing the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2. HPP2 presents an opportunity to build on the legacy of the past 3 decades and guarantee a more secure future through resilient processes, systems, and institutions. The plan aims at implementing policy programs which enhance service delivery, private sector-led and inclusive economic growth. Namibia's diversification strategy is set to increase investment and development of the food industry, transport and logistics, metals, mining, renewable energy, chemicals and basic materials, digital and global business services, and machinery and electronics. With the vision of private sector-led growth, Namibia is open to trade and foreign direct investment and is continuously proving to be the preferred investment location in Africa. Among the reasons for this include protection of ownership rights and rule of law, sophisticated financial systems, trade agreements that facilitate regional, continental, and international market access, peace, and stability. A nation powered by nature and fueled by hope. A nation where our unity is our strength, where determination and passion endures. A nation powered by our unwavering belief in our values, our resources, and above all, our people. This is how we are shaping our future. Welcome to Namibia, the land of the brave.
That's the NIPDB, ladies and in the form.
Good evening. Good evening. Now, I heard Menangula's cry. She said she's here to interact. She's here to dance. She's here to have fun. Now, it's very difficult to choose a song when you're just given like 8 minutes, 2 songs, you know. And I thought, what song can I, choose for the team? So, this song, hi Desiree, how are you? Here tonight is blessed to be here, blessed to have this opportunity. When you believe, you
I'm breaking free. I don't know about you. One hitter, one shatter, I'm climbing to the top. Praying for the mullah to the Lord. One hitter, one shatter, I'm climbing to the top. Praying for the mullah, oh Lord. Don't chase life. You know that I wenyo. Everything that you want, everything that you need is gonna be. Praise the Lord. I pray and sing. Love will set you free. Don't feel alone. I'm here with you. Let it go. Rejoice for me. Today I'm blessed. Tomorrow too. When you believe, you never lose. And if you never change, you'll be a fool. I'm breaking free. I don't know about you. One hitter, one shatter, I'm climbing to the top. Praying for the mullah to the Lord. One hitter, one shatter, I'm climbing to the top. Praying for the mullah, oh Lord. Tomorrow too. When you believe, you never lose. And if you never change, you'll be a fool. I'm breaking free. I don't know about you. One hitter, one shatter, I'm climbing to the top. Praying for the mullah to the Lord. One hitter, one shatter, I'm climbing to the top. Praying for the mullah, oh Lord. change, you'll be a fool. I'm breaking free. I don't know about you.
I got my number to dance. I hope you're enjoying. Thank you so much for bringing us here today. I want to make sure I save Dino on Monday. So, he's trying so hard for us to get here, to get the creative. I actually had a pleasure to be in Durban last week for the Intra-Africa Trade. So I appreciate so much what Menangola and Desiree in their remarks in terms of really, especially on the Intra-Africa Trade, market access, that's my passion. That's my expert. And then it's very true. So when a Namibian is producing a product, we just produce a product, right? You are lucky, Menangola, this is Namibian water. This is the first thing you must see when people are promoting local products. Check what water they are serving you. Check what water they are serving you. Listen to what the music they are playing. Now it's Namibian talent, but they are playing some other things. So that's the thing. And then also, I appreciate, Desi, what you said on the platforms. The creatives are actually those guys that are developing platforms for distribution. So it's amazing to connect the producer and the one who's doing the platform for logistics. So in the intra-Africa trade, if you are producing this product, tomorrow you want to go to Zambia. You don't just get there today. You must understand the SADC trade protocol. What are the rules of origin? What are the compliant issues that you need? And for you to qualify for that, there are relevant authorities that must actually check your product and can give you a rule of origin certificate, must give you the standard of what Zambia wants certificate, it must give you all those things. So it is very important, I think, that more money in it, more training in it, so that tomorrow we create a Namibian export basket. Thank you. So the next song is my last song. This one is for Daisy Matthias. Okay, if I have to play Ndota, I have to call Dino on stage. Dino, please come. He's. Thank you. Well, Daisy, I had a song for you, but now you had this one. I didn't know this one was also for you. So you know already, most now. Yeah? Okay, let's go. No, hold on. It's actually in Dota, not that one. But the super. Yes, today is your night when Angola. You cannot go home. Woohoo! Vaughn, please give them Dota quickly. Give them Dota. Quickly. So we're gonna do this is the dance. So in Durban, this is such an amazing, you were having 42 SMEs and they were not there virtually. And every time we come there and we show people, they're just like, whoa, you guys, and we went to different stands and not a lot actually were virtual. They only had maybe the few people that they could afford to come there. So we had more coverage even though maybe we did not have many people on the plane. So I think that was already innovation. Okay, so we're doing this in Durban. We're trying to show some moves from Namibia. So we go like this. Andi danandot, andi dilekend, gendili mondabo, andi nukompem. It's very easy. So just like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, ta 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 ta. Dota, are you ready? Dota? All right. Shit. Okay, it's fine. The USB is in the car. Give us that telela. This one was especially for everybody who came here. One day to be your day. Let's go. We'll do the same style anyways. We'll do it. Mr. DJ. Now everybody stand up and sing. And you gotta wait. You gotta stand up and do this one. The song is titled that telela means, waiting for my time. Okay.
One day I'm gonna get my Yes, you gonna fight through love. There you go, don't rush. You know when you rush, yeah, you gonna crush. The sun is yours, taking. The world is yours, breaking. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Datelela, datelela. Efimola, kasime kulu. Apandula, apandula kalunga. Okedela.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well done. Thank you, and God bless you. Yes, it's never easy. Mr. DJ.
Dino B!
Thank you,
Oh
thank
man, ML, we gotta bring
Thank you
Dino
so
B on
much.
stage.
Thank you,
Woo! Thank you so much. Wow. All right. This is Owanja. This is why you came out on a Friday night. I hope you're happy now. All right, business comes to business. Apart from that, thank you so much as well. Apart from ML that went there physically, Poya Media was one of the virtual exhibitors, and it was so cool because we could interact with 55 other countries online, and we got 2 leads. We got 2 leads for business. How good is that? Hey, thank you. Okay, why I love doing this job. Chop said he's gonna be with exhibitors. I'm not only just a moderator, I'm speaking on behalf of entrepreneurs. I've been doing this for 4 years, Poya Media, and only finally, yes, we were inducted in the Namibian Business Hall of Fame, which is good. But you know what, many times people don't see the struggle behind newspaper articles. People don't. I spoke to somebody about, going into agriculture because he needs to venture into something else because you need to be adaptable. So the first group of panelists, we're gonna speak about creatives. And many years ago, when I started 19 years ago in the industry, we didn't acknowledge this. We didn't acknowledge fashionistas. We did not acknowledge makeup artists because we didn't appreciate it. So 19 years for me being in the industry, my heart is so happy. A round of applause for that. So for the first round of our discussion, I would like to call one by one. First and foremost, that's the Managing Director of MultiChoice Namibia, Mr. Roger Hertzer. Round of applause, have a seat. Following him, we have the founder of Duri Pamwe, Tanya Stroh. We went to the Windhoek International School together. Whoop, whoop. There we go. And then the artist, fashion, photography, film, Maria Nepembe. Round of applause. All right, so first things first, everybody is mic'd up. Can everybody see everyone? I hope we are not... I hope I'm not blocking some people on the stage. All right, so first and foremost, I think it's really important to understand what culture and creatives means. I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Hertza. MultiChoice Namibia, a big brand, a big entity. We have disruptors coming every single day. How important is it for you as an organization to be innovative, number one? And what are those deliberate initiatives that you do and facilitate to remain relevant in such an era?
Thank you very much. Thank you first and foremost for having me this evening. Ilka, maybe I can start off by saying innovation is our middle name. And hence us in business for 30 years, and not only in business for 30 years, but in business successfully for 30 years. And we certainly plan to be in business for the next 30 years very successfully. From a content perspective, on the African continent, we've seen an increased demand for local content, 2.5 million. African content, is it 1.3 billion Angola? And then an increased interest in African content beyond the continent, 7 billion. I'm mentioning these numbers simply because Angola has been speaking about them. And if I'm saying that we have realized this increased, demand for our content. We say as a business, there's a good case out there for local creators and their time has arrived. For us, content is threefold. Firstly, it talks about how do you deliver quality content. Secondly, when there's a demand for this product, we all have seen that over the past number of years, consumers' lifestyles have changed. And therefore, if you want to deliver this quality content, obviously you need to innovate, make sure that you are there where the people are. Thirdly, if you then realize that there's an increased demand for a certain product, in this case, content, you need to start to think about building a sustainable model so that you can sustainably stay in business. Now, those are theory. What have we done as a business? Firstly, it's open and it's out there that as an African business, born and bred in Africa, and as a business that is operating in 50 countries across the continent, we are investing in local content. We have adopted a hyper-local strategy in the MultiChoice group. Therefore, we invest heavily into local content, in the production thereof, and also acquiring local content, packaged local content first. In terms of the second aspect, we as a business have innovated around how do we deliver this content to our audiences. Hence, we have launched our Showmax offering, which provides a hyper-local angle to it. And if you go onto that platform, you will see the amount of African content that is already there. And yes, Namibian content as well. Can I challenge the audience who has watched Land of the Brave on the Showmax platform? One. So that's the start of big things for us. That platform scales into the globe. We deliver through our DSTV service a streaming offer which provides for local and African content. In terms of the third aspect is that when we talk about sustainability, we have launched the MultiChoice Talent Factory in May of 2018. Back then we said, we need to create young professionals in this industry who can be trained and who can be made all-rounders, so that when the time comes, they are ready to participate in this industry. The MultiChoice Talent Factory portal has been launched in 2018. To date, we have just over 2,000 Namibian creatives who have registered on the platform. And it's not about only registering on the platform. The platform provides for training and skilling for already existing industry professionals. We have collaborated with international and local professionals who conduct master's classes. You will probably know that we contract local as well as international professionals to run this master's classes, not only to the new entrants into the market, but also to existing creatives who have been in the industry for many years, to upskill them in terms of what is required to be successful in this day and age. But secondly, what are those changing trends in the film industry? We have delivered quite a number of those master's classes already, and I'm very happy to say that quite a number of Namibians have participated. Also under the MultiChoice Talent Factory project, we're taking in 3 young Namibians into a regional firm academy in Zambia. And we have just started with the 3rd intake. The 6 that are already in the industry is already so active, and I can only see that sustainability will come through that initiative in the next couple of years to come.
Yeah.
Just lastly, is that people are talking about SMEs and SSMEs. MultiChoice, for the best part of the 30 years that we are existing, has adopted that strategy many years ago. And therefore, we've got over 130 accredited installers that are SMEs. We have 32 agents across the country, SMEs. And when I'm saying that through us being here, we are only appointing 130 staff members on our permanent establishment, are we touching the lives of over 2,000 Namibians just through our being here.
Wow.
And I'm stopping here.
Great
Maybe
stuff.
there's another question.
No, great stuff. And yeah, round of applause. You're doing a lot. I told Mr. Hertza, one of my former interns at Poya Media, RA, he went there, he came back with such great news, and now he's running his own digital agency. So it's testimony that, you know, things are working back home. I'm sitting here with 2 hats, okay? So I'm sitting here because I'm an entrepreneur, I know, and Marianne will agree with me. We preach beautiful things, but when we go back home, oh, we gotta pay rent. Nobody's supporting our spa. Nobody's supporting her whatsoever. We could have a Maria being big in Nigeria. You know, when Desiree spoke about, you know, culture, I think we need to speak about culture, not depend on sponsors and organizations to be pumping a lot of money into training. Ms. Owanja said right now, we overtraining. We need the money to fund into our company so that we can make a living out of it. But it's our people that need to buy our Gweti socks, not because a bank has been running out a campaign. It's our own people here that need to support. So bringing this example now, we can have somebody that's big in Nigeria, but the moment a Maria comes back, our local people do not appreciate and invest into our own talent. Is that a yes or a no? Or maybe you could probably be more valued or more paid than your own Namibians. Maybe it's infrastructure. So what are those deliberate local initiatives, apart from multi-choice talent factories, that are practical solutions so that a Maria can make her same living that she makes in Nigeria and be appreciated back home? That makes sense.
Yes, it absolutely makes sense. For us at MultiChoice, we believe in collaboration. We partner with those organizations and individuals, which we believe will help us to drive our agenda of enriching lives. So we here in Namibia, for example, we have 3 local TV channels on our platforms. And watch this space, more is coming. How do we make use as Namibians of the already existing platforms that we have on our platforms here in Namibia? We have 5, in addition to the 11 radio stations of the NBC, we've got 5 other local radio channels on our platforms, DSTV, the streaming service, as well as GoTV. How do we use those already existing platforms to our benefit? And then we obviously take some of this content into Africa on our other in-house channels. And again, I'm challenging all of us to step forward in the spirit of coming from the land of the brave and taking those opportunities head on. When I welcomed Maria and Delish from the plane after they won Big Brother, I said to them, let's make it happen. And yeah, maybe she feels tonight that she didn't get everything, but there was an opportunity. And how do we support her and others to make that opportunity better and bigger?
Great. Charity starts at home. It starts right over here. Tanya, let's move on to the fashion industry. You are advocating for fashion and creative industry, and you can agree with me. Like 19 years ago, people would probably laugh like, "Ah, you gonna do what? You gonna sell to who?" Do you think that our mindsets have changed from whiz years to now? Let's say, okay, maybe for me, 19 years ago, you're 3 years my senior in my brother's class. Do you think our mindsets have changed?
I think it has. I remember doing a TED Talk 2015, sharing my vision for measuring creative and cultural industries in Namibia. That was like a sort of novel concept at the time. And I really said, this is where potential for our country it is. It is the most sustainable of solutions. Yes, when I look at this beautiful video that was screened earlier, like, yes, we've got mining that's on there, but ultimately, like, what kind of sustainable resources are we looking at? Yes, there's renewable energy, but really, human creativity in our minds, it is the most sustainable resource for as long as human beings will exist on the planet. So how do we then capitalize on that? So I think it's, not just about individual artists, so me producing or designers, producing a garment. How am I affecting the ecosystem? How am I creating a scalable exchange of goods and exchange of values, much like you were speaking to earlier? It's not just about me as the film producer, but can I get my content onto DSTV that would broadcast it to a much larger market? And I think, really, are Namibians producing export quality work? Are we producing work that we can benchmark internationally? And yes, I think we are buying each other's work. I'm wearing the garments of my friends. I'm watching your content. I'm listening to local music. But yes, it's great that that's at home, but that's not enough. That's not going to scale. So what kind of content? I mean, like, for example, I had the privilege of working on Bahu and the Giants, which was, Namibia's first feature on Netflix.
Oh, wow, for real? Yes. Round of applause. I didn't know that. Wow, congrats.
And I remember in our first discussions, it was always like, we don't know if we would get to Netflix, but it was always something in our mind that we said, what if we could produce something exceptional that is a Namibian story, that is relevant to our context here, but it could be good enough to be on Netflix. And I think that is also what the NIPDB is seeking to create, like export quality creativity that we can benchmark internationally. And when we play this video next time, I want to see creative industries as a topic for investment on it.
Great. So before we ask the two last questions, CCI, it's fairly new. It's a teething process. You start up a business. Okay, I only have one customer. Second year, I'm not even making profit. Or I am just having to sell my stuff because I just need to get by for the day. So having organizations like CCI, they're great initiatives. What is your vision? It's good to have something black and white. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is our mission. This is our vision. But what do you, as a fashion designer in your industry, what are those realistic expectations that you have for this organization being part of it?
Sure. So maybe just a correction. I'm actually a graphic designer by profession and a design thinker, but I volunteer my time to the Fashion Council of Namibia. So my vision for the CCI in Namibia is, I want this to be a percentageable, if that's even a word, contribution to the GDP, and not just in an economic context. I think the beautiful thing about the CCIs, it's also about expression. It's about our heritage. It's about the things that makes us Namibian. It's about preserving culture, and I'm going to point him out. I know that Patrick Sam, the chairperson of the National Arts Council, is here tonight. So I think there's a lot of drive from government to support the creative industries, whether it's through, for example, the concept of a national award that would award careers, because there are professionals that are artists that are really, they've created careers out of their lives, and they're also creating an impact for the communities which they serve. So I think ultimately it is, yes, an economic contribution, but also a societal one to say that I can impact my family and raise my kids on my creative industries and know that my children can be artists and designers just as much as they can be doctors or lawyers.
Amen. Preach. Whoop, whoop. I love the sound of that. All right, Maria, I only have one question for you. And what I love is when corporates are with creative thinkers. So years ago, social media, ha, 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 we're not getting money, but now we're getting paid with YouTube views, which is good. How easy or how hard is it to have a collaboration with corporate to endorse this new technology, which I'm saying is still fairly new? Because remember, there's risk reputation management. If we endorse an Ilka Platt, if something happens to her tomorrow, my brand is going to get tarnished. There are so many risks still, and I think Namibia is still new in terms of still grasping onto influencers and ambassadors because of the risk. What have you done deliberately to merge corporate and your social media innovation technology?
All right. Thank you, Ilka. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the platform. My name is Maria Nepembe, as Ilka already stated. I'm a film director and a video director. And to get to your question, collaborations with corporates is not an easy thing. Firstly, as a creative, you are afraid to share your idea, because I've heard so many stories of where somebody would email a marketing officer from which company and whatever, and then they never get a call back or never get a response. And then 3 months later, they see their idea on social media or on a TV station, for example. So our ideas are being stolen, first and foremost. Second of all, I'm lucky enough to have a brand, a name that is a bit prominent in society. So for me, if I were to reach out to, for example, a company that sells soccer balls, they'll take me a bit seriously and be like, I can do this for your company. I can create a beautiful, a visually stimulating video for you so that people can take notice of your company or of your balls, and they'd want to buy. I've worked with many brands. I've done an advert I've directed an advert for Nedbank, for Old Mutual. I have this client, PST Bet. They are a betting company. I'm basically their videographer, their marketing person. So for me, I think for me that's a blessing, but everybody is not as lucky as I am, because I've managed to build relationships. I've managed to build a brand for myself, a brand that people take seriously and trust and have trust in as well. But for example, I shot my TV series in May. It cost me about 480,000 Namibian dollars out of my own pocket. I reached out to many, I'm not going to mention names. A simple thing like product placement. You pay me, and one of the actors in the film could be buying MTC credit, for example. That's brand placement. You're helping me make a film that can go far and can also, put our Namibian industry outside, And also, it doesn't help when you have 3 TV stations in the country with our population with that reach. Yes, it's great platforms. We appreciate that so much. But is it lucrative for me to take my show that cost me 480,000 Namibian dollars and take it? Did I switch it off? No, it's on. And take it to One Africa Television, for example. How much will they give me? Do you understand? So if One Africa Television, if a policy or I don't know, something was done, and then we could have One Africa showing in all African countries, that would be a lot of people watching. And in numbers, when you have numbers and a huge amount of people watching something, it's bound to make more money. Because I know I work in an industry, Nigeria has a huge population. And that's why it's so easy for anybody to just get up and be like, I'm going to go to this bank, I want to make a film. Because the bank knows the reach that that film is going to have. Unfortunately, we don't have that in Namibia. I completely appreciate all of these platforms. All we do is talk and talk and talk. But when it comes to give us money, let us make the film.
We snap our fingers. Snap our fingers. Yeah, do the step. Very, very important. Remember, after this, you can still network with everybody in the panel. Chops, are you ready? Are you ready for the next item on our agenda?
Absolutely, and thank you to the panelists. Let's give them a round of applause one more time. We're going to go straight into it. We've got a video that's featured by the Namibian Film Commission. They've done amazing work supporting films from low level right to the very top feature films, of which myself has been lucky to be a recipient of these funds that have gone into pushing this culture of film and theatre. So let's see this video. It's from the Namibia Film Commission, and here it is.
We rolling in 3, 2, 1, action. Open yourself to a new world where you can be bold and use Mother Nature to get your story told. A place that helped breathe life in masterpieces such as The Mummy and Mad Max Fury Road. A feeling, an unrivaled destination of endless possibilities. It's Africa's best kept secret. Shh, Namibia. Where bigger and better production space is a language only we understand. Do you need culture and depth? Do you need passion-filled or energetic scenery? Do you need diverse and multilingual people? Namibia is your answer. A country with an ever-expanding film industry. We have the crew, the cast, and talent that makes all other filming destinations look like child's play. Are you making an out-of-this-world blockbuster or an Oscar-winning masterpiece? Namibia is where Mother Nature easily transforms herself into a spectacular actress in your production. And at the center of it all is Namibia Film Commission, a custodian for all visual content shot in Namibia, and we are here to assist you from the opening image until the last frame. Get in contact with us for all your filming needs and queries at www.nfc.na. I said www.nfc.na.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. While the batteries are dying, let's give Ilka some time to change that. But we're going to hear some words from our next speaker. And remember, we've got 2 panels tonight, so stay with us. We've got a chance for you to ask some questions a little bit later on. First, I would like to welcome on stage this Chief Executive Officer of BIPA, the Business and Intellectual Properties Authority in Namibia, Ms. Vivian Kachiongwa, who will be speaking about owning your mark and protecting your brand. Once we've heard from Vivian, we're also going to have a moment to speak to some of the exhibitors to hear what talents and what they are creating and pitch to us 90 seconds about their business. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, Madam Vivian. It's not you. Let's have a look. Maybe if we switched it on, that would be...
And I'm saying if we knew it was off. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. We could hear something. It's turning on, okay? Let's try it again.
Warming up.
Yes, slowly.
Okay, super. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to NIPDB for the opportunity to share what BIPA does and what we are doing at this point in time. I think the one thing that I've learned from what was said on stage is that the most important thing that NIPD for me is creating at this point in time is really the synergy of bringing everything together. It's a fusion of availing what is out there for all industry players and bringing it together to make it easy for you to do business or to practice your creativity and your profession. I also want to touch on what was said by the speakers from here. I think one of the things that we forget is when it comes to ICT, I think ICT is really an enabler for our economy, and I think we've learned a lot through the COVID crisis, and in everything that we do, even being here, it's really through ICT that we are able to send the message out there. So the topic that I'm to speak about I don't, so I was asking, I'm very sorry, I was asking Margaret, I was sitting next to her, I'm saying, now who's the lady who's talking? And it's Ms. Nepembe. So she spoke about the whole issue of the idea or the work that you do and how to really, I think, harness from what you do and live on it and also benefit from what you do. So BIPA is, we are a regulator, but the one area that really pertains to what we do is all about creativity and the creative industry and many other industries, because we also register business. But we administer different laws, and these laws are responsible for providing the protection that you would need. And when we do ideas, I think everybody has spoken about the need to get funding, the need to get money, you need money. But you can get money. The issue is that, is it sustainable, your idea? Because if you have money, you can create whatever, but if you can't sustain the uniqueness of your creativity, you have a challenge, because anybody can steal it. It will become like the car wash, the barber shop, because anybody can do it. So at BIPA, we protect intellectual property. One of the key ones that touches really to the core of the creative industry is the copyright and related rights protection. So in that area, currently, we're busy with reviewing the law, which would then really ensure protection across all modes, especially in the digital sector, because when the Act was drafted many years ago, we didn't have the advancement of the digital sector to the extent that it is today. And as part of that, also the Act would establish a fund, which fund is supposed to be there as a source to help develop the sector of creativity, and also so it's normally your musicians, your filmmakers, your authors, the people who work with crafts and so on. So that is really the whole team. Now, for BIPA, I think what we try to do is to really inculcate on you why it is important for you to protect your brand or to protect your innovation, because as you correctly said a few minutes ago about, you used an example of, One Africa TV, and we were thinking about multi-choice now, what multi-choice is thinking, because it's almost competition, but it's that when we, as Maria, when she was performing, we don't produce things only for the local market. You have to produce it for a bigger market, because our economies of scale are not so big that you can really benefit. So if you protect your, say for example, I'm going to talk about trademarks, brands, and your logos that you are able to protect. If you protect them through the Industrial Property Act that we have, your protection can extend to other jurisdictions. In that way, if you do your firm, you take it, let me use Nigeria because it has a big population, it means that we are able to ensure that the protection is also extended there, so that people don't copy your firms and so on without you benefiting from or giving permission for that. So I have a few facts, and I know that it's a bit late, Friday evening, but the one thing that we've seen is that in 2015, there was an article published by the World Development Peer Review Journal. And this article showed that in intellectual, it is very important to know that there's been a great transformation in the standards pertaining to intellectual property, and that the theory now that is globally accepted is that stronger intellectual property rights, they spur increased incentive to innovate. So they have to be strong. And when they are strong, they are supposed to also give value. They actually become one of your assets if you have a company, because they are an asset that actually has a value, and you can trade it, you can get money, you can put it in your book, so there's value to intellectual property. Now, Namibia today, when you go out there, they talk about us as having one of very good intellectual property laws, but the benefits that law has not really materialized in the country, because people are not using what is available to protect or advance their products. So what we're trying to do is to really ensure that intellectual property gains the value that it has, and especially for small businesses, so that they can grow through the use of intellectual property. Also, if you look at worldwide, they say that filings in the area of trademarks, for example, the total value worldwide is 25 million, just in 2020. Now, when you take that and you look at what it actually signifies in Africa, and when you bring Namibia into context as well, in Africa, there has been only 256,000 trademarks registered. It means it's about 1.5% of that big 25 million that I spoke about, and this is US dollars. Then for Namibia alone, so far we have, that is 2020, we registered about 2,400 trademarks, and that is merely 0.02% of that big total. So the figures speak for themselves, and it means that we have to do more effort to increase the registration of trademarks. And it's not about making money, it's to ensure that you benefit and you get the protection that comes along with it. Now, tonight I'm supposed to really share with you the campaign that we are running now. Our campaign currently is focusing on trademarks, and I would like to invite you all to, if you have an idea, you really have to ensure that you protect it. You were talking about your trade secrets. If you look in the newspapers of this week, I was so amazed because the Development Bank of Namibia put an advert in the newspaper to say, please, to all business owners, go to BIPA and register your, what is it called, your business, what is it? Your business plan or business proposal, because if you protect it there and somebody else steals it, it's your right, it is your asset, and therefore you can sue them. And it's not really that the court system becomes complex, because what we also have now is we are establishing an intellectual property tribunal, which is supposed to be easily accessible, and it would deal with those specific issues in a more expedited manner. So we're really trying to ensure that your access to protecting your rights is also as easy as your ability to register it. So the campaign that we have, or maybe before even, I have to at least try and tell you what it is when I refer to a trademark. So in terms of the description of a trademark, it speaks to the sign, the symbol, or the word that distinguishes your good from those of others. So if you have a name, let's see, TechNovation Social, I think it's unique. It might have common names, but it's unique to, it distinguishes you from other platforms that are there. So those are the types. And also if you look at the, if you look at the little tree of F&B, it's a good example as a trademark.
Can we give a round of applause for that? Wow,
thank you.
Progress.
I want to just give you a few examples of really well-known brands, for example, in the trademark area. If you look at Apple, the value of the brand of Apple is $263.4 billion US dollars. It's just the brand itself. But Apple itself as an organization has a different value, which is not related to the brand. If you look at others like Amazon, for example, 254 billion. Coca-Cola that you see, they're always innovative. Their adverts are like, you just want to drink Coca-Cola, even if it's not something that you really do. It's about 87.6 billion. Nike, for example, is 30.4 billion. So that is the value that a brand or trademark would add to your creativity or your product. So in terms of our campaign that we have now is that we have 3 phases that we are going to run. The first phase will focus on the creative industry. And the way that we're going to do it is we have a number of influencers that we have identified who would then go out in the field and really ensure that they transfer the knowledge that you require in order to harness the benefits of utilizing intellectual property to protect your innovation and also benefit from it. The second phase would then go to the area of goods and services, and there we would really target SMEs, and I think with Dino's department as well as the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade, it's a good way to identify these SMEs and really ensure that information is transferred on the why, the how, the cost, and how fast it would take. And remember, this protection lasts you 10 years, and then you can renew it again. The third phase, then, we would really target the tourism sector, because there have been various studies that we've done in the tourism sector to show the benefits of intellectual property in that sector. So we'll target them, and really what we intend to do is to take businesses, first, as Maria also said, that bottle of water, it has to be distinguished. Everybody sells water. So you learn how to brand your product, you learn how to package it to the stage where you are able to commercialize it. And that is the process of how to really enhance and benefit from the brand that you have. So with that said, tonight, I'm not here to bore you with my IP. I just want to really congratulate you on this awesome event and for including us in this. And I would like to encourage you all, visit the BIPA offices, or to be safe, you can check on the website, or to be even safer, you can just give us a call and find out more. And we normally avail staff members who have expertise in the area to share your knowledge with you. But don't think about just producing. First think, let me protect this thing before it goes out, because if I don't protect it, others will use it and I will not reap the benefits of my own creativity and innovation. So thank you for that.
Those are wise words from Madam Vivian Kachuongwa, Chief Executive of BIPA. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. We're getting back to our exhibitors, and we're at the Tololi stand, Tololi for Convenience. It's an online store. We'll be hearing a little bit later from him. And if we come this side, we've got more innovators and more that are wild about tech. And there's this particular stand that I can't wait to hear what it's all about. Now, we've got the developers that are standing here, and you've got 90 seconds to tell us what it is that you do.
Good. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tukaleni Longa, and I'm the founder of
I think this one's working. Can we get some more volume? Let's try that again. Okay.
Is it working now?
They turned it on.
Okay, so I can teach basically. Cool. So my name is Tukaleni Longa, and I'm the founder of Dual Life Entertainment. This stands for to unite the world applicants in failed establishments. So this is a game theater company, and our aim is to create the first Xbox PS5 style of game based on fictional heroes and villains. However, we are realistic, so what we decided to do is, how about we create a brand where we introduce these characters to a board game, then we go to comic books. By the time we get to our goal, we have established a brand and we have an audience. That's one thing I do. The second thing I do is that we're offering to offer courses to high school kids based on gamification. Gamification is teaching people how to create games that sustain and solve issues around them. Imagine if I teach a kid how to create a game for dyslexic people, or they come up with a concept and I just teach them. That means that they'll be able to make money from it and test the idea with dyslexic students, and that basically solves the problems. Dyslexic students will get to pass. The third thing I do, but I'm not going to mention it because of time. The only thing I'm going to leave this speech and say is that there's two sorts of entrepreneurs in life. Ones that are in it for the money, and entrepreneurs like me, who are in it for the money and we want to create a legacy. Unfortunately, or fortunately, this is my legacy, and me and my team, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want to be created. Thank you, everyone.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. As easy as that. 1 minute was given. We're going to hand it back to the front with Ilka, where we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, our opportunities and threats. Ilka, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chops. I've got 2 sons at home. Who's got kids at home? Yeah, I gotta say, like, Mom, where you at? How long are you gonna take? We're here to network. Please do note, after this event, you can still socialize, but let's also be mindful of those that have responsibilities back at home. So, to welcome the next panel, please help me welcome, that is Seppo Haihumbo. She is the Executive Officer of Commercial Banking at FNB. Round of applause. Followed by Adele Oosthuizen, Chapter Owner of Future Female Windhoek. And last but not least, we have Dr. Tlantla Lupala, the Deputy Director of Research and Innovation at the Ministry of Higher Education. Are you here, Doc? Have a seat. Thank you very much. So we will only shoot one question at a time per guest. So in Namibia, we have the higher class SEPO. We have the informal settlements. How do the informal settlements affect the creativity and where we are gearing towards creativity, culture, arts, and getting us to the level that where we want to be?
Okay, so generally, as Africans, I think we are very creative. We can solve.
Amen. Thank you. Round of applause. That's good. Thank you.
And I think Africans have a unique ability to solve complex problems with very limited resources. So I think with the bounds and leaps that technology has moved forward, removing the mundane everyday tasks, it brings creative industries to the forefront, which really creates more opportunities to solve uniquely African challenges and uniquely Namibian challenges, because with the AI, we gather data, we learn more about what our problem set looks like, and then we're able to use AI for opportunity, and using the principles of design thinking to solve things like water management, healthcare, renewable energy, understanding how we can apply artificial intelligence in agriculture, and through that improve food security to reach those in the informal sector. So I think AI also makes it manufacture easily scalable. In the past, to be able to manufacture products, and 30 years ago in an African context, you needed to put up a big manufacturing plant, and technology has really helped enable the opportunity to be able on a smaller scale through things like 3D printing to be able to be an international player. But I think something that has been mentioned quite a few number of times tonight has been market access. Personally, the Africa Free Trade Continental Agreement is something that I watch closely, that I'm very hopeful for, that I think will be a game changer if it's applied with the correct political will from all the participating countries. In 2017, I had the privilege of visiting Senegal, and I learned there that they import a lot of rice, and they import it all mostly from India, which is actually quite interesting because a lot of rice is grown in Africa, but if we don't have the technology to understand what those markets are and what those connections are, then we won't have those opportunities. So so simple things like rice, mahango, etc., through technology, we'll be able to understand what those marketplaces are on the continent.
So we have the potential, we have the creativity. It's just us cultivating that, getting the spark. Correct. Adele? Future Females, they've been so active on social media. I remember before lockdown, we had so many gatherings. We unfortunately heard that a well-known restaurant closed business. Again, we hear another company has closed business because of COVID. Also, maybe not enough support. Future Females try the online, let's have these women empowerment online. What are some of the challenges? As Africans, we love to, dress the part. We love to say, hey, I want to touch you. That's us. What have some of the challenges been for Future Females hosting your events virtually?
I think at the end of the day, it is so important to network. People love to meet each other. We love events like this because this is where we meet new people. This is where we get introduced to new opportunities. This is where we can learn how to scale our businesses. This is how we can learn to actually take our businesses and actually take it into the international market. With the Future Females platform, we don't only just host events. We create an amazing platform for female entrepreneurs. We're not anti-men, we're just pro-women. We also serve the male industry, so don't take us there. But, and unfortunately, we've seen through the 2 years that we've been battled with COVID, hosting online events, doing the physical events, and every time that the president tells us that we're allowed to network, then the people phone me and say, Adele, we were having a physical event. I said, yeah, this is the restrictions. We will have to do that. And I think in the world of entrepreneurs are fast movers by nature. And also, they are more risk takers. and more experimental, specifically when it comes to new technologies and the innovation, and to take their own lives and their own products further into the international or into our market. And I think with the Future Females movement that we've been around for 4 years, and I've been running the Namibian chapter now for 3 years, and I've seen, and we get about 80, when it's not locked down, we get over 120 female entrepreneurs that visit our events on a monthly basis. So the hunger is there, the need is there, the opportunities are there. And not only offering the online opportunities or offering our physical events, we also create a platform for where we have a virtual business school. We've now done our 3rd cohort that we took through 150 entrepreneurs over 3 cohorts as 3 months successfully doing the business school. And I think that is something that is so super important for every entrepreneur to go through a business school project so that they can learn the fundamentals of their businesses and to take their own businesses to the forefront.
And Future Females, you guys are doing amazing. I attended one of your events and I felt so inspired. Thank you very much for that one. Doctor, what is your ministry doing to complement CCI and IPDB, especially when it comes to risks, threats, the gaps that they need more stakeholder engagement?
Thank you very much. Firstly, let me say that we, as a ministry in charge of innovation in the country, we report on 2 global instruments in terms of our innovation performance. One of which is the Global Innovation Index. This index has 5 pillars which are inputs to innovation or enablers. And then we have 2 pillars which are namely knowledge creation and technology outputs, and the other one is creative outputs. One of the sub-pillars there is online activity. I'll tell you that as a country, we are not doing very bad in that particular pillar, which I think is closely related then to the CCI. However, as Ms. Matthias mentioned earlier, we pick up that there are certain legislative instruments that hamper our creative youth in terms of trading to international markets, the restriction that is caused by their inability to receive international payments on platforms like PayPal, Google, etc., etc. But I'm glad to inform you that the 4IR task force is aggressively looking at that restriction. And as a ministry, I'm glad to let you know that one of the entrepreneurs sitting behind there are actually there through the successful support rendered to them to obtain their first seed capital, courtesy of the efforts of the ministry that facilitated a write-up that enabled them to get the first funding from UNESCO. And I was particularly involved in that. That is Minds in Action.
And what's the name of that company? Who are you? What was the name of the company?
Minds in Action.
Minds in Action! Congratulations. Thank you very much to the panelists. That's all the time we have for tonight. Chops, are you at the back somewhere?
That's right. We're going to go right to the back and we're going to speak to one of the exhibitors. And these guys actually went through to Durban and went through the whole shebang. Now, again, we're going to give it 90 seconds to hear from this exhibitor before we move on. If you stand right here in front in the light, and we'll give you 90 seconds to give us a real brief run-through of what Toledo Shop is all about.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Philemon Nangolo, and tonight I'll be introducing you to Tololi Online Store. Now, e-commerce is not a new concept. I'm sure a lot of you know what an online store is. But our value proposition is that we aim to connect the manufacturers directly to the end customer. Why? We want to save the consumer time and money. And for the manufacturers, we want to give them more information about the end consumers in order for them to improve their products. So tonight, I'd like to really discuss with all of you over here in the audience. So please come and join me for a glass of wine, scan our code, and let's interact. Thank you very much.
There we go. You have plenty of time once we're done to chat to the exhibitors and see what they do. For now, we're going to cross over for a short video. This is a promotional video that's by Made in Namibia collection. Let's take a look. What a beautiful video. Let's give a round of applause. Made in Namibia collection. We're moving on, and we've got a performance by this lovely lady. Her name is Mikiros Garowes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome her onto the stage.
Hello. Oh. Good evening, my people. How's everyone doing? Don't bore me more than Menangula, please. First of all, I would just like to thank Menangula and Desiree for organizing and bringing us together in this event. And a big shout out to Tatedino Balotti, who's the one that reached out to me, and Sheku for allowing me to come and recite a poem for you guys. So I am here on behalf of the artist, of the creative. Just specifically, to let you know how hard it is with a little word called exposure. You artists know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to knock it too much, because even though it's necessary in the beginning of the career, of any artistic career, however, it's not sustainable, and over time it becomes not so much fun. Okay, so here is exposure, the life and struggles of the Namibian artist/creative. Us artists can't eat exposure for all our needs and wants. We can't pay with exposure bills when eating at a restaurant. For many years, I was a waitress, making all of my bosses rich, while forgetting my dreams just to survive. Maparapas, where does it fit? We can't shop with exposure when we go to town, because those shop workers will judge you heavy. So just picture this, let me break it down. Ma'am, your groceries are 1,750. Okay, I don't have any cash or coins, but do you guys take exposures? Or can you imagine going to the mall and buying those fabulous shoes or that new winter jacket and saying, listen, I don't have my debit card, I don't have my credit card, but does your swiping machine accept exposures? Imagine. So all jokes aside, as we laugh and smile and have ourselves a key, you'd be surprised with how many people out there want you to give your art away for free. In fact, just the other day, I got a phone call for a promising opportunity. I was so excited until I found out that they ain't have no respect for the art community. This is what the guy said. Yes, comrade. Yeah, man. So we have a big event, new company, man. There's a big event, big chiefs, big fries, everything, no small fry things. Just come and sing for us, man. Just come and do the event. There's gonna be a red carpet. Ooh, fantastic. Expensive food. Ooh, I am there and we are within. You'll be in a beautiful gown. Ooh, yes, honey. And everyone in the country will just hear your beautiful, beautiful voice, comrade. Hey. Oh, I am so excited. So tell me, how much is your budget and who should I send my quote to? Quota? We are most paying you an exposure. You know, it's a big platform. You can't put that kind of price on advertising. Well, actually I can, because my fee is 1,200 and hung up in my ear. True story. So, for your photographers and your videographers, the salt of the earth, they work hard at your wedding, sometimes with no pay, and free food is not the sum of their worth. And singers, live bands, music producers, with them, don't be greedy, cheap, or limited, because if not for them, how would we know that the buying and selling of alcohol is prohibited? And the actors, the thespians, the comedians that keep things light when life gets dark, return the favor for the joy that they bring, attend the theater, buy tickets, and enjoy their art. The sketchers, the painters, the sculptors of our lands, blessed with a unique gift, creating timeless Namibian masterpieces. Their talent is not to be played with. And another thing, begging for checks for a gig you did 6 months ago. Guys, that life is frustrating and hard, because they take advantage without even knowing that that check determines whether you eat or you starve. And they say nothing is free. We all know that quote, a truth that's universally accepted. So why is it different when it comes to us artists? Why on earth are we the exception? And they say, boo-hoo, just stop crying. Artist life is so hard. Why don't you just quit? That's like telling Christine Boma, girl, just quit running. It's in her soul, her calling. It's just who she is. And in the end, we're just humans, not millionaires. We haven't hit the lotto. We're your mothers, your siblings, your cousins, and your friends. We're even some of you's camborotos. You know what I'm talking about. No judgment here. And now I ask you, if the roles were reversed, would you work for free? Slaving away for nothing? If your answer is yes, then you failed my test. You know you are bluffing. So the next time you need an artist or a creative, pay them well because their burden is heavy. If you take care of us, we'll take care of you. And together, Ish, the rest of the world ain't ready. Thank you very much.
Well, I assume you got paid by NIPD and FMB. I'm not going to ask you if you got paid or not. We are within. You know what? I think she was my highlight for the moment. You know, the next time I'm gonna have a client, I'm gonna record that and I'm gonna play that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play that speech. You know that it's that discussion about maintaining relationships and the professionalism puts you on your last gas to get to the conference. So
Yay.
congratulations,
Yes.
round of applause.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Chops, we are about to go into our last panel discussion for tonight. Is everybody ready? Are we still awake? Are we
Yes.
still awake? It feels like I'm going to be one of the panelists tonight. May I please call to the fore? That is David Akinin, yes, founder of Jabu Logistics. Have a seat. I think we shared the same page in the Namibian, didn't we, about startups? That's you. We always look different in pictures, right? I was like, is that you? It's you. How are you?
I got a haircut today.
You got a haircut. That's why I didn't recognize you.
I got a haircut.
Okay, nice haircut. And then we also have Pedro de Fonseca, founder of Black Gold Engineering.
Yeah.
Pedro, have a seat. So he pitched at NBII, the Namibia Business Innovation Institute, and he's been around the world. He's been around the world. You've been doing some good stuff. Shikulo Piñas, creative director of Gwetty Vintage.
Yes.
Here you go, sir. Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. My first guns blazing to you. When we share the page in the Namibian, they spoke about startups. How hard is it? How easy is it? What do you need? Technically, how hard is it? I'm not going to say how easy is it. Realistically, how hard or what were the challenges that you faced to start up? Is it Jabu or Jabu?
Jabu.
Jabu. Okay. How hard was it?
I think if it wasn't hard, we wouldn't want to do it. That's what I would start with. And I think that goes for the artists. I think what was hard was probably trying to convince people that in a market like Namibia, you want to raise money. The local investors and the international investors. But I think the hustle pays off if you really stick to it. I didn't start Jabu alone. I started Jabu with the community. And this event is called, it's around TechNovation, but I would challenge us to start thinking of it as inclusive TechNovation. We started Jabu a year and a half ago. For those of you who don't know what we do, we power the way small retailers source and stock their products. A lot of people call it informal sector retailers, what a tuck shop, a spaza shop, a Shabin, how they get their products. Normally, they have to take a taxi, buy their products at a shop, and come all the way back to their shop to resell them in the community, where probably the spending basket is a lot smaller than in the center of town. And they sell products much more expensive. They bought them in retail, add transport costs, time, and resell them. It's not hard to start a business that solves that problem when your client understands that you're making it better for them. And when you're including your client, when you're hiring your client, their community. So today we're 178 people at Jabu. I landed from Zambia this morning. Jabu is now in Zambia with 42 people.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And we raised money because we stuck to it. And you know what? We're capitalized and we're sticking with it. And I would like to, I heard what MultiChoice is doing. Maybe through the NIPDB, we'd like to maybe propose a few ideas from what we've learned tonight. I was texting with a few of my colleagues. First one is we'd like to sponsor and select 3 Namibians who've studied computer science to go into an intensive computer science course and then get a guaranteed job to come work for us. So if the NIPDB can help us select those 3 Namibians, that would be amazing.
It's power.
The second one is we don't only struggle to raise money, we struggle to find talent that is committed and passionate to build the next thing.
Yeah. True.
And we haven't built Jabu because any of us particularly worked hard individually, but because we came together. And a lot of us keep coming together. We have job openings on our website for those of you who are looking for jobs. For the singers who are out there, we've been looking for a singer who can make a Jabu song. For the videographers who are out there, and this is a paid song, by the way, we don't have exposure. For the videographers that are out there, I mean, Petalina's sitting right here. She's coordinating all our marketing. We're always looking for videographers. For the graphic designers back there who are doing amazing work, we're looking for that, and that's the first thing we did. For the fashion designers that are out there, we're always looking to see how we can make our next uniform. So, I mean, we're here tonight. There's like 8 or 9 of us here. Approach us, give us your business card. We'll spend our money on you.
Wow, great stuff. Wow, it seems like you got a whole lot of money on you tonight. So here's the money man for tonight. You can approach him afterwards. Yeah, if you can do anything, yeah, approach them. So I met this gentleman. We hosted one of our clients from Zimbabwe, Sheki Tumburwa. He came here to visit the office of the president, so we met the president, and it was under the global director of chamber for young business leaders. And then we brought Sheki to NBII, and then this brilliant guy, he showed this new technology of building lampposts, street lights, the fraction of a cost, and it's brighter lights. You know those big lampposts we got? Half the size. Do you know that he has many of this in your warehouse? Have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Why isn't it everywhere in the country? That is my question. So my question to you, do you feel that our population sets you back because you've been making it big in Canada, in the States, you've been making it big everywhere else but back home?
Okay. Good evening all. So knowing the Namibian population and as well as the buying power that we got here at home, like it all sits in the middle class. When I started my company, firstly we called Black Gold Engineering. Black Gold Engineering, we manufacture our own LED lights. I designed them, patented them. We are now patented in 5 different continents. And my first patent was with BPA. Yeah. So having done that, I started off with designing LED streetlights. The streetlights were mostly for municipalities and your power companies and so forth. And the idea was to reduce that heavy bill that municipalities pay for our streetlights and then charge us as the end users as well for it. So having done that, I realized I can't just look at that clientele. I needed to scale. So we scaled to, okay, so I need to explain it like this. We got funding in July. And we set up the warehouse, we got people employed, got the machinery in, and we got working. We realized, okay, the public wants more. And people are asking, okay, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? What do you do for that? So by November, I had invented 3 more different lights so that we could be able to supply the needs for the locals. So we've got downlights that are about a 10th. They use a 10th less of the power that our normal lights consume. So in other words, if you have a 25-watt light, I've invented a 3-watt light that's just as bright, just as strong, just as capable, but uses very little power. So,
So the question remains, fast forward the history, does population of Namibia matter, and has it been a setback for you and your organization?
yeah, so having created the downlights, this was actually created for the public, for us to be able to get into the public space, for us to be able to influence the market here in Namibia. Yes, Namibia is a small market, but it is also a very much needed market to work in that space, especially for us. Being established here, working on these platforms, we need to be able to engage the everyday person because it's those little ones that actually take you further and keep you going and maintain you. You know, so we had to realize that and come into it. So yes, it's a small market, but it's the most needed market. So we had to scale ourselves to integrate into that market to be able to do that. Namibia's market, I want to say that we are a bit particular in what we want, and so we have to keep improving ourselves as entrepreneurs. We have to keep improving ourselves to get into that market, you know. So today it's this, tomorrow it's that, but either way we need to keep relevant, and to do that, if you can't do it in a market of 2.5 million people, you will not make it in a market of 10 million people, you know. So we start from home.
And not even to mention all the red tape. So once this guy needs to get the whole tender to put it all over the country, a whole lot of red tape for that. So yeah, we wish you luck. And you know, one bit at a time. Gweri socks. Who's got a pair tonight? No, wait. I want to see who's wearing a pair of Gweri socks.
It's a
Tanya! One out of how many people do we have here, Miss Wanja? Why are they at home? No. Okay, who's got socks at home? Don't lie now. Don't lie. Now everybody's going to say, you got Gweri socks at home? You've never heard about it. All right, cool. Okay. So my question to you is, with CCI, what do you think the perception is? Okay, so the question was the perception is in a certain way, but if I say that, I'm already putting a perception out there. Yes. So being in the industry, what perception do you think the public has of CCI? Do you think it's positive or negative? And you as a game changer, how are you embracing this initiative?
Okay. Is my mic working? Yes. Good evening, everybody. My journey has been hectic. You know why? I'm from a Oshiwambo traditional home where my mother is telling me, Zulu, you need to become a teacher. Zulu, you need to become a doctor. And that's the setting that is everywhere. Even right now, I know some parents are here like, what are you doing? You are an artist. No. So that's where that's where the problem lies. It's a problem that we can look into. It's a problem that we can work on. I know it's not going to take time. So we need to understand that we as creatives are important. One thing that you need to notice, right? Everyone in this room is wearing clothes, right? Who's making them? Thank you so much. So we need to understand now that we are important as doctors, we are important as teachers, we are important as everyone. And when we're in this room, we need to take part of every decision or every aspect. Currently, right now, what the creatives are going through, or let's say creatives that are going through, it's not easy for them. Also, the fact that COVID came and hit a big hole. So my idea is probably the government could put more measures so that we could look into the creatives. Number one, make sure art is developed at a younger stage. When I finished my university is when I opened up that, okay, I need to move in this direction. But it was late. But if a young Zulu boy from primary school had these opportunities, trust me, right now I could be around the whole globe shining. So we need to look into that. I'm happy that the youth advisor is here. Please tell Tate Hage.
I saw that coming.
Tate Hage can go and make a public announcement that tomorrow there's lockdown. I want Tate Hage tomorrow to make sure that every school in this Namibia, art is taught from kindergarten. Okay. Because if we can't start from these young kids, then it's going to be difficult for them once to grow. And it becomes a challenge. And now it's the right time for us to put in these measures because we are here for the future. Our generation has passed. You can't convince my parents that you need to do arts, but now it's our time as young adults to teach the future that yes, there is possibilities for this. Please pump in that money. The other ministries are getting funds, bigger budget. Look into the art industry. Make sure they get the funds. The people must get paid because we create. If we don't, then I don't know. Yeah.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. You two should do like a collaboration song, and Jabu needs to pay the both of y'all. Isn't that a good idea? Yeah. Thank you so much. Give them a big round of applause, the three of them. Chops, we only have a limited time for maybe one or two exhibitors, and then we have a performance. Are you in the building?
Thanks so much, guys. Another round of applause for our panelists. I'm going to head over to our exhibitors. We've got two more that we need to speak to. We're going to go right to the back. These guys are doing incredible things. Have you heard of Netflix? I'm sure you have. But there's something that's better, and it's from right here in Namibia. So we're going to get an opportunity for the founders to tell us a little bit about what it is that they do, and just 90 seconds in a nutshell to tell us why we must buy into you.
Good evening. I do believe everybody here is a team. And what you currently see on my shirt is Mohoko. It simply means diverse. We are a family. And what you can see here is that we are a tech company. We integrate technology in the modern era. Right? So we've built sites for Window Fashion Week. We've built sites for us. We build sites for other clients. And our recent project is EBA TV. So the thing about EBA TV is that South Africa has DSTV. Nigeria is Nollywood. The rest of the world is Netflix. What does Namibia have? I have heard the cries of Maria Nepembe and other creatives inside here. Now my question or my answer is that EBA TV simply means Namibia. The last letters of Namibia is EBA TV. Right? So what we do is a streaming platform, creatives. If you have a film, you put it on the platform, you get views, we pay you out $2. As simple as that. The reason why we are here today is because we launched in March the whole project. We built it through Mohoko. There's an Android app, iOS app, web app. It was running for, I think, 6 months, but we've built the platform since 2018. So it's been 2 years and when we launched recently. So we are here because we need funding. Anything else besides that, you can come to us. Happy to serve you. Thank you.
All right, a big round of applause. They need funding, and I think they absolutely deserve it. Now, I'm loving this because transport is one thing that we all use every day, and an opportunity to hear what Taxi Connect does is exactly what we need. Gentlemen, if you come forward, and in a nutshell, round it off for us, what is that Taxi Connect does?
Great, good evening, everyone. I have 90 seconds to charm you all, but you have the rest of the evening to get to know my team and I and what we do. So I'm the founder and, the co-founder and CEO at Taxi Connect, Rhino Chibagala. And Taxi Connect is a platform that allows users to hail for a taxi from the comfort of their home. So what we are doing is we're digitalizing the taxi industry. So the first thing that we're touching on is safety. We all know that safety has always been a concern when it comes to transport. And that's why at Taxi Connect, when hailing for a taxi from our platform, we provide you the details of that driver. So first of all, the picture, the taxi number, so you have everything that you need to know just for accountability. I mean, who has ever lost their phone in a taxi and never got it back? Well, with Taxi Connect, that's not happening. And so we're currently operational in 2 towns. We are in Fenton, and we recently launched in Swakopmund. So if you're planning to be in the coast this holidays, don't worry about your friends with cars that are going to leave you behind because we got you sorted. Thank you.
It's just the best idea ever. And soon we'll be saying goodbye to that whole, hello, Ochomise, those days will be long gone. So thanks so much, Tax Connect. Thanks so much, guys. And we're getting to that part of the program. Got a little bit more entertainment, followed by our final words. Ladies and gentlemen, our last performance. Let's give a warm round of applause for Nikita Winkler and her dancers. Oh, wow. Just wow. I really hope that the rest of the world can experience what we've just experienced tonight. That is just something else. We're getting to the end of our program, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. At this stage, I would like to welcome on stage from the MSME Division Executive of NIPDB, Dino Bati. Round of applause.
I think we need to give a round of applause to the previous performer again. It was amazing. So before I give the votes of thanks, I think it's important just to note Nikita is physically in Europe. She's Namibian. And when we spoke to her, we said, we want you to come and perform. And she's been able to monetize her performance and her craft by not physically being in Namibia. And I think if there's one takeaway for this evening, you don't physically have to be anywhere to earn a living. And I think, again, I'm just in awe with that performance. Mickey Ross, you were amazing. But that performance was 10 out of 10. So I think, lastly, another round of applause for Nikita and Nicole. So it's been a great evening. I think we started off with some technical glitches, and my team probably could see that I was getting a bit frustrated. But I really want to appreciate and acknowledge everyone that's put a great deal into this evening. Allow me to thank my team for the tremendous support and efforts in ensuring that this event worked as best as we could. I appreciate Desiree in saying this was only the beginning. We can't change everything by ourselves. We can start immediately, and that's what we've been doing. The team behind the scenes, MC and Catherine from the Branding and Strategy Division, you guys have been immense. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. A big shout out to my two immediate colleagues, Chaze and Sheku. This is all because of you, so they deserve the biggest round of applause. I must be honest, I've not had an opportunity to see the exhibitors at the back, but I definitely will make some time after this. And I ask that all of you do the same. We appreciate you guys coming out. We have Ray and his wife that came all the way from Soko to come and showcase their business that we saw the video of earlier. So to all the exhibitors, thank you very much for being here this evening. We have not paid them, so that's possibly an exposure payment. But for the exhibitors, we really appreciate you guys coming out. To the amazing performance, you guys rock. Mickey, I think your poet was relevant to this evening, and we really appreciated it. And again, a big thank you and a big shout out to my boss. So to my CEO and leader, Menangula Awanja, aka NU, your contribution and unwavering support to our division, and to me in particular, I'm lost for words. And really, Namibia is better off with you in it. So Menangula, let's give her a round of applause. Lastly and most importantly, thank you to everyone that's made the time to come out this evening to support the sector. It's all because of you. We're going to continue doing this. FMB, you guys have come on board at the last hour and said we want to partner with you, and we appreciate that. Seppo, in particular, thank you very much. And I think my final words, with all this said, let us please support our exhibitors. Let us support the sector. Let us support local. We were adamant there must be Namibian water on the tables. But in anything you do, be Namibian, buy Namibian, buy Namibians. So thank you again, and I now officially close this evening. Thank you very much. It's not officially closed. Back to the MCs.
Thank you, Dino B. I was about to say, there's still an after party after this. Chops, it's been wonderful. What was your take-home point? He loved Nikita. My highlight was the poet. What was your highlight?
Well, at one stage, I was at the back, really boiling up with sort of this inspirational feel. Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, we really can do this. And I was just at the back there, just thinking, this is incredible. And I'm glad that this is the beginning, because there's only good things to come.
Great. Well, on behalf of myself, Ilka Platt, thank you very much to the CEO of NIPDB. Thank you, Desiree, from the President's Office. Thank you to the sponsors, the logos. Dino, did you forget something? Did you forget to give our Christmas gifts? Christmas came early. Should I give you the mic? All right, hang on.
There's that movie where the guy says, I'm the captain now. I'm the captain. I forgot to acknowledge the panelists here, and we have a gift for each of you. I'd like to call Sheku and Chaze, if you're not too far, to come and assist me to give out the gifts to the panelists. I'm not going to name all of you one by one, but if you're in the room and you are panelists this evening, it's the least that we can do for your exposure. So we ask you to come to the stage and come and get your thank you gift. So all the panelists, please, in no particular order, come and get your thank you present.
And let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your words. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our panelists who have taken their time out to come and share words with us.
Every time I took a nail, I elevated heights. And I didn't book a return flight. Mama raised a soldier. My heart.
Dino, are you sure that's the last thing you had to say? Are you sure? All right. Well, on behalf of myself, Ilka Platt, thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. Tomorrow I'm going to Kitmanswamp.
Good.
There's another startup festival. I'm going to see Deepa there as well. Yeah, Deepa's going to be in the house. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening.
Good night.
Good night, Mr.
Good night.
Take it away.